Real estate in India is one of the most opaque sectors in the entire economy. Opaque land titles, state-level corruption exposure, unscrupulous smaller players, related party transaction risks in joint ventures. Real estate in India can deliver strong returns, but only for investors who structure carefully, diligence thoroughly, and account for the risks honestly. The investors who succeed here are not the ones who chase the highest returns. In Indian real estate, the cost of a mistake far exceeds the saving on entry price. Hello and welcome back to the Veyrah Law Series. Today we will discuss an exciting but challenging sector for an investment in India. Real estate. India's real estate sector is one of the largest in the world. It is currently valued at approximately 480 billion US dollars, and it is projected to reach 1 trillion US dollars by 2030. The sector accounts for nearly 7% of India's GDP, and it is the second largest employer in the country after agriculture. Foreign investment has been growing steadily in the real estate sector. In 2025, India's real estate sector attracted over 8 billion US dollars in institutional investment. Office, warehousing, and data centers led that inflow. Global names are already here: Blackstone, Brookfield, GIC. The opportunity is real, but so are the challenges. Let us be honest about that. But first, the good news. India's FDI policy for real estate has been significantly liberalized over the last decade. 100% FDI is permitted under the automatic route in most subsectors. This includes construction development projects, townships, and housing, built-up infrastructure, and industrial parks. Some areas have conditions attached to FDI. For example, in construction development and industrial parks, there are requirements around minimum area development and lock-in periods before you can take your investment returns out. A word of caution: buying and selling land parcels or completed residential units is prohibited for foreign investment. So, as you can see, the policy is relatively open. The policy is only part of the story. What actually happens on the ground is another story altogether. Here is where we need to be completely candid. Real estate in India is one of the most opaque sectors in the entire economy. Land title in India is notoriously unclear. Multiple ownership claims, disputed records, fragmented family titles. These are routine, not exceptional. Every project requires a long list of state-level licenses and approvals. Environmental clearances, building permits, fire NOCs, municipal approvals, utility connections. Each of these involves physical interaction with government authorities. And as we discussed in our episode on corruption, this is precisely where exposure is the highest. Smaller and mid-sized developers have historically been the usual offenders. Funds diverted between projects, inflated related party transactions, delayed completions, buyers and investors left exposed. These incidents happen frequently. The residential sector has seen improvement with the introduction of RERA, the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016. RERA introduced compulsory registration and statutory timelines for developers. It has brought more accountability to residential projects. On the commercial side, the REIT, Real Estate Investment Trust structures, has been transformative. REITs allow institutional investors to acquire stable, income-generating assets, typically Grade A office or retail, through a regulated listed vehicle. They provide liquidity, transparency, and a clear exit mechanism. India now has several listed REITs, such as Embassy Office Parks, Mindspace Business Parks, and Nexus Select Trust. So where does all of this leave foreign investors in practice? Real estate in India can deliver strong returns, but only for investors who structure carefully, diligence thoroughly, and account for the risks honestly. Here is our practical framework. First, always use an SPV structure. every project should sit in its own Indian SPV, a special purpose vehicle. Do not consolidate multiple projects into a single entity. If one project runs into trouble, it should not contaminate the others. Route investment through an offshore holding entity into each Indian SPV. This insulates the parent from Indian liabilities and preserves exit flexibility. Second, land title diligence is non-negotiable. Before committing a single rupee, conduct thorough title due diligence on the land parcel. This is not a standard legal search. Engage a specialist, someone who knows the specific state's land records, revenue history, and local title practices. Encumbrances, disputes, government acquisition notices must all be identified before you transact. Third, joint venture partner accountability is paramount. Most foreign investors will need a local partner for approvals, relationships, and on-ground execution. Choose that partner carefully. Diligence their track record, talk to their previous investors, check their history with regulators and courts, and then hold them accountable through the structure. Milestone-based capital deployment, escrow for project funds, independent audit rights, clear consequence clauses for underperformance or diversion of funds. Fourth, forensic check on related party transactions. This is one of the biggest pain points in Indian real estate joint ventures. Related party transactions, construction contracts, material procurement, service agreements are a common route for value diversion by some unscrupulous partners. Ensure all related party transactions are on arm's length terms. Conduct forensic checks on existing related party contracts before you invest. And build ongoing review rights into your governance framework. Fifth, outsource non-essential functions, project management, approvals management, statutory compliance. Outsource all of these to professional third-party firms. This reduces your exposure to corruption at the government interface and keeps your team focused on what matters. Next, on bank finance, avoid corporate guarantees. Bank financing is available for large-scale real estate projects in India, but be clear about how security is structured. As far as possible, let the Indian partner provide the guarantees. Avoid extending corporate guarantees from the offshore parent company. The Indian partner has the relationships, the local assets, and the on-ground accountability. This is where the security should sit. Seventh, pay a premium for safety. Start with commercial if you're entering Indian real estate for the first time. Commercial assets are a safer starting point than residential. Grade A office space, logistics and warehousing, data centers. These offer relatively more transparency, stronger institutional counterparties, and cleaner exit routes. The REIT pathway adds further comfort for stable assets. Pay a premium for quality assets and reputable partners. In Indian real estate, the cost of a mistake far exceeds the saving on entry price. To sum up, real estate in India is a high-potential sector. The numbers are compelling, the policy is open, the long-term growth story is real. But the risks are equally real. Opaque land titles, state-level corruption exposure, unscrupulous smaller players, related party transaction risks in joint ventures. The investors who succeed here are not the ones who chase the highest returns. They are the ones who structure carefully, diligence thoroughly, and build in the right safeguards from day one. It's no surprise that someone rightly said, real estate cannot be lost or stolen, nor can it be carried away. Purchased with common sense, paid for in full, and managed with reasonable care, it is about the safest investment in the world. The key phrase there is managed with reasonable care. In India, that care needs to be extraordinary. We hope this episode has given you a useful framework for thinking about real estate investment in India. If you found this video useful, please do share it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode.